Coach Tuberville, I hope you're having a great day, sir. Welcome to Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Thank you. I'm having a great day. Beautiful day. This is birthday week for United States of America. I think, 246, somewhere around in there. And what a great country we live in, and we can recognize that as we learn our freedoms every day.
Coach, we were just talking about it. I'm going to make you a part of the conversation. John Robinson, who's now going to be a senior consultant there for Coach O at LSU, when you look at, getting the itch to be back in affiliated with coaching, how long does it take to get away that when you get to, fall camp starting up and you look at the age that, John Robinson is, but it's like coaching never leaves you. It's hard to get it out of your bloodlines.
Yeah, you never get it out. I mean, it's the passion, it's the camaraderie with the coaches and players, and that's what you thrive on when you're a coach, is the people that you're around, the common goal that you're trying to achieve, and it's a very hard goal to win every game or win a championship or national championship. It's a lot of fun. People don't realize how hard it is. It is so hard to put together all the things you need to put together to be successful. And if you're not, they move you on down the road. So it's kind of fun to watch some of these coaches get in it and build. Like as you said, Coach O at LSU has done a good job, and of course Nick, what he did there at Tuscaloosa, and all the people that's involved in college football. If you can make it 4 or 5 years as a head coach, you have been a success, because it is so hard to keep it going.
Coach, when you look at coaching, this time of the year is a little bit of a break, or maybe it's not, because this is the second consecutive year where you get visitors now. You can get recruits on campus. That's official visits can happen the month of June. This is the second year that we've been a part of that. But now you get a couple of weeks. Coach, how did you get away from the game of football? Were you able to sort of recharge the batteries, get completely away before the long season begins?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have to make yourself do it. You never get completely away, because you've got players on campus, and all of you can't be away at the same time, because your players are on campus working out, going through workouts, 7-on-7 drills, and you're responsible for them. And, of course, you've got a huge staff. People don't understand. You've got a staff of around 100 now, and I'm talking about secretaries, equipment people, people in the equipment room, medicine, training, all those people, and then you have your coaches and your people that are involved in that. So a head coach is responsible from 100 to 150 people, and a lot of those have to be around when the head coach or your top assistants are not there. But you have to kind of divide it up. We never went on vacation at the same time. I would make at least 3 full-time coaches be on campus, full-time, be around the players, know what's going on, along with the training staff and the medical staff. But you have to take some time off. It will absolutely wear you out, because it's a 24-hour job. Coaching is every day, 7 days a week, 365 days. And, even if I went on a short vacation, I was around the phone, had a staff meeting on the phone at least once every 2 days with everybody, just getting on the phone, especially, of course, you got to talk about recruiting. And as you just said, it has made it tougher on coaches, because it's hard to get away with all the parents and the players coming to campus now for official visits during the summertime.
All right, Coach, what makes you, because you talk about coaching and the long hours, what makes you want to make that transition from getting into coaching or leaving coaching and becoming someone that would represent the state of Alabama? What sort of made you get into this political arena?
Well, I'm worried about our state and our country. We're headed in the wrong direction in a lot of things, and no better person to be a U.S. senator than a football coach or a basketball coach in college, because you deal with so many entities. You get out in the real world. You get out in recruiting, and you're around the rich kids, the poor kids, the middle class. You see how they live. You see how they struggle. You see how the mental health problems, the educational problems that we have now with drugs, the street drugs, the prevention, and there's so many things that you go through. And over the years, I always wondered, being a coach, what are they thinking in Washington, D.C.? What are they thinking? But you look at it and you realize we're dealing with people in Washington that are career politicians, and they don't know the real world. And all they do is sit behind a desk, read a book, or watch television, and that's where they get their information from. And so I could name you just dozens of coaches, basketball and football, men and women, that would be great Congress people or great senators, because it is about the United States of America. And one of the number one things we have is their education and the problems thereof of what we're having with education. So fully qualified, again, I'm not a politician, don't want to be one. I want to go to Washington and the people of Alabama in this country, because we are under attack in every avenue, and we need to get back what we once knew as the United States of America. We need to back President Trump. We've got to get him reelected. If we can do that, we're almost back on our knees from the previous administration. We can get back going where we used to be and get things going in the right direction in terms of our judges and our society. And the left has absolutely lost their mind. I couldn't watch that last week of watching them on TV in terms of they go absolutely opposite of what this country is all about. So you ask me why I'm running? That's exactly why I'm running. I want to help this state and this country become better and get back where we used to be and should be.
Coach, regardless of moral principles, religion, your faith, whatever, you look at a team, and something that I've often said, when I look at a football team, I look at 11 guys on one side that are working toward a common goal, either to prevent the team from crossing the goal line or get across the goal line. And it's regardless of the guy, that the guard or the tackle or the running back or the wide receiver, it's not about race, it's not about religion, it's about one common goal. How much do we need in Washington, D.C. and in Montgomery, Alabama, that team concept to be able to reach across the aisle and to be able to go, hey, it's one common goal. Let's get across the goal line. Let's not regress.
Exactly, and help the American people. We've gotten away from the American people, the people that they should represent. For some reason now we're all about illegals, and I'm not against immigration. We need immigration, but it's about giving the American people's money away when it should be used back in their communities, their state, their counties, on their streets, bridges, health care, education, everything. Our veterans, mental health. I have seen so many problems in our society being a coach that none of it is ever addressed. It's just kind of a coat of paint thrown on something and try to make it look good, but it's still there. And as you said, coaches are about winning, and it's about building, and it's also about trust, and it's about selling, and it's about getting people on both sides to come together for a common cause. The problem we have now is that the division that you see in Washington is so far apart from the right to left, and every day the left tends to go farther and farther away from the principles and the moral values of this country. I hope we can get back to one government instead of two or three different types of governments, and that's the reason I want to go to Washington. But as you said, it's a tough situation, but I know how to win, and that's the main thing. And again, it's about Christian and moral values, and if we don't get those back, and we don't fight it off in terms of other religions coming in to try to take over, our kids and grandkids are really going to suffer.
We're talking to Coach Tommy Tuberville, and Coach, I assume that you're going to run as coach, right? I mean, or we're going to have to call you senator? Is it going to be Coach or Senator Tuberville?
Yeah, somebody asked me that. I don't want to be called senator. I want to be called coach. That's how people are going to know me, and that's how they'll recognize me in terms of trying to get something done. For the state of Alabama, we need somebody to go up and. A coach is a great salesman. We need manufacturing in this state, not just automobile manufacturing, but we have to get technology in this state. If we don't, we're going to be so far behind. Our kids are going to leave this state. We're going to lose population as we're losing now. And again, a coach is nothing but a salesman. And so that's what I'll be taking to Washington. So I want to be called coach, not senator.
All right. According to the latest polls, you are the front runner right now. When we talk about the polls throughout the state of Alabama, Coach Tommy Tuberville joining us right now. He is going to be making a claim to be the U.S. Senator from the state of Alabama to go to Washington, D.C. and represent the values of this great state. When you talk about when you're traveling throughout the state of Alabama, and what's the concerns of the local people as you travel throughout this state? I know you were in Tuscaloosa a few weeks ago, but as you're traveling throughout the state of Alabama and you're reaching across the aisle, what are the concerns that you're hearing?
Well, the first thing is that the people that we send to Washington that we just seem to recycle, they don't stand for the people of this state or this country. They go up there and they pretty much work for the bureaucrats and the lobbyists. And everybody tells me, and as I looked at it for about 8 months before I decided to run, people are tired of politicians. They want outsiders like Donald Trump, somebody that's got common sense, that understands the problems. I'm anxious to debate some of these people that I'm going against that are career politicians, because I know exactly where they stand and what they're about. And I want to ask them questions myself about, what did you do this for or that for? And again, it all starts with our youth. It all starts with the values that we have. And people in this state, in the state of Alabama, want to get back to the values, the Christian values, and the hard work ethic. And that's the reason I think you go back and look at the football in this state. People love hard work and effort and teamwork and camaraderie, and everybody's got their team that they pull for. We got 4, 5, 6 great football programs in the state, getting better and better. And I think that that's the reason that people of Alabama love football, because they love America and what it stands for, and the work ethic and teamwork.
Coach, let me ask you a final couple of questions here. We're talking with Coach Tommy Tuberville. Let's address the elephant in the room. When you look, and it's speaking of elephant, no pun intended, Alabama fans, when we talk about, let's just be honest. You whipped up on us a couple of times. How are you going to reach across the aisle and get the Alabama fans on board?
Everybody asks me that. In most places I've been, I've had actually some places it's been almost 100% Alabama fans. But people are worried about their country, and they obviously love their football program, no matter who they support. But they really love this country, and you can't have that football program unless your country survives. And as I tell them, we're in trouble. And I tell them all, you can trust me to be a winner like you trusted me being a winner in the SEC. I won a lot of football games, but it's about believing in something and building something. And instead of just going to Washington D.C. as a senator and being part of a club, so to speak, and rub elbows with people that you see on television stuff. Hey, I don't need that. I've been there, done that. I want to go up and bring values from Alabama to Washington D.C. and speak our piece and let them know what the people of Alabama want. I'm not going up with all the answers. I'll go up with things that people from Alabama want me to talk about, whether they're Alabama fans, Auburn fans, Jacksonville State, North Alabama, any of those teams. So at the end of the day, I was a little bit concerned about it. I was concerned about how it would be accepted, but it has been overwhelming positive. Now, I'm not going to get all the Alabama vote, and I'm not going to get all the Auburn vote either. Just the way it is. But I tell you, when people hear my platform and why I want to do it, I'm a politician's worst nightmare. I don't need a job. I don't need the money, which I'm not going to take a salary, and I don't have to be politically correct. Plus, I'm probably overqualified for this job compared to some of the other people up there. And I want to help this country, and I know where this country is hurting. It's hurting in a lot of places, and we need to get back to where we used to be, and where people will believe in this country again. It's the greatest place on the face of the earth. This state is a great state, but we got some things that we can really improve on.
Coach, I'm just curious, as you jump into this political arena and run for U.S. Senator for the state of Alabama, I remember a conversation that you and I had on the radio a few years ago, and you said you were sitting in Nick's office, or you were talking to Nick on the phone. I forget exactly which way it was, and I think he told you that you're gonna get the itch to get back into coaching. Did you reach out? Because listen, one way that you could really go up in these polls, and I know you're up big. You could get an endorsement from the guy in Tuscaloosa, and that would probably push you over the finish line completely.
Well, I've never put Nick in that bind, and nor would he. And if I was in the same situation, or any coach, I don't think it's your responsibility as somebody that represents the entire state to endorse anybody. I'm good friends with Nick, and
Sure.
I think he would tell you that. So I would never put anybody in.
But did you reach out to him? Did you talk to him about maybe getting involved in this?
Well, I hadn't yet. Of course,
Okay.
I hadn't been in for 6 weeks, and I usually see him playing golf, but and I did see him for about 5 minutes at the Tradition Golf Tournament in Birmingham when I was playing in the Pro-Am. We normally play in a tournament for Chick-fil-A, and he had just had his hip replacement, and we normally sit down and talk for quite a bit of time and visit about the season and about football and visit about family and all those things, but didn't get a chance to do that this year. But I'll have the opportunity. I'll be at Alabama games this year as well as Auburn, and UAB and South. I'll make them all, and I'm looking forward to that. You know, I did ESPN football one year, and that was probably my most disappointing year. And everybody says, "Why?" I said, "Well, I got to watch one football game, and that was it." Even when you're a coach, while you're sitting around waiting to go to the stadium and coach your team, you got the chance to watch other games. I'm a huge college football fan, and man, I've got some good buddies that are coaches. Nick being one, and of course Gus being one. He coached my son, and Bruce Pearl, very good friend. So I love coaches. I know what they go through. I mean, it is a hard job. I don't care if you're winning national championships like Nick or struggling at a point at this situation where Gus is in. I mean, you still have major problems because you got a great responsibility with the young people, and you're an icon. People look up to you, and you have to behold and uphold that. So, hey, I love coaching. I had a chance to get back in. I ran my course. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to work very hard to represent the people of Alabama and Washington, D.C. Again, I don't have to do this. I want to do it for the people. I want to do it for this country. And I don't think there's any doubt that, number one, we got to get Donald Trump reelected, but I want to go help him continue to turn this country and this state around.
Coach, final question. When you look back at 44-16 in Santa Clara, California, Clemson sort of got the best of Alabama out in Santa Clara. When you look at that from a coaching standpoint, everybody's talked about the intense focus that this offseason has been like inside the football building. You can see it. They're talking about, reestablishing the Alabama factor. How much does it help you as a coach? Not that a loss is ever a good thing, but it gives you a rekindled focus, a different attention to detail. How do you take a loss and make it a good thing?
I've been in that situation several times, and kind of the same type of run that Nick and the University of Alabama is having right now with national championships. I was with Jimmy Johnson and Dennis Erickson at Miami back in the golden days in the 80s and 90s when we were winning, every other national championship. And I'll tell you, the hardest thing in the world is to keep that hunger going, to keep a team hungry day in and day out, keep fighting for that common goal. And that's a lot of pressure. There's so much pressure. 98% of the teams in this country try to win a conference championship or have a chance to go to a bowl game. And now you're talking about the University of Alabama, which is winning national championship year in and year out. But that pressure builds. It's built by your fan base. It's built by the people around your program. And it's built by your coaching staff. Your coaching staff wants to win it every year, but you always have to remember this. I always remember that I told you this. It's not ever as important to the players as it is the fans or the coaches. It's a game to those kids. They look like men, but it's a game, and it's hard to keep them focused. Now, watch that championship game last year, and it looked very similar to, I don't know if you probably don't remember this. I think it was the 92 national championship game. We were at Miami, and we play Alabama in the Sugar Bowl. Gene Stallings won that game. His team won that game, and they took us to the woodshed. Now, they probably had the best team, but we didn't have that hunger or drive that we had the year or so before that when we beat them in the 89 Sugar Bowl. And so it's just hard to keep that edge, but you got a guy up there in Tuscaloosa that knows how to put that edge on as much as possible. You can only do so much as a coach. You've got to lean on your leaders. I think this is going to be a great year for not just Alabama, but the SEC. I think there's going to be a lot of good teams. LSU, Texas A&M is going to be improved. Auburn has got a great defense. They just got to see what happens with the offense. And, of course, Georgia's coming on strong, and I think Tennessee's going to be there. But it is the hardest thing in sports is to keep that edge week in and week out. And Alabama just got beat by a better team that had that edge a little bit more than they had going into that game last year, and you could kind of see it as the game went on.
Coach, what do you see in Tua Tagovailoa?
Amazing athlete. The thing that I like watching him do, and again, I've been around some great quarterbacks over the years, and I am so impressed by him, how he throws the accuracy of the mid to deep ball, the ball down the field. And he keeps his eyes down the field. You have so many quarterbacks that will just absolutely panic in the pocket and dump it off, and you're coached to do that. But I see him as a guy that's got just nerves of steel that will take a step to the right, take a step to the left, let one of his receivers get that one extra step, and then him put it on the money. And, I thought it was, as we're going through the year, I said, man, this kid can't keep this up. I mean, he can't keep it up. But, my goodness, now he's got great receivers. But I'll got the it factor. I've been around 3 or 4 Heisman Trophy quarterbacks, and I had on my team when I left Texas Tech. Now, I didn't coach them, but I had Pat Mahomes and Baker Mayfield on my team. I left them for Cliff Kingsbury at Lubbock. And those kids had that. This Tua has got the it factor that he can do the special things when sometimes it's not there. He gets the job done. So I'm anxious to see. I tell you, and with those receivers back, almost everybody back on offense, it's going to be interesting to watch. I just, it might be one of those teams that don't come around very often.
Coach, how can we get more information about your campaign as you talk about the issues? Certainly we've covered some of those today, but if people want to explore more about you and your platform and what you're running on, how can they get more information?
Well, they can go to TommyPercentage.com, very simple, TommyPercentage.com. Just look at what I'm talking about, my agenda, and I pretty much went over today. I'm a common sense guy, and again, I want to go for the right reasons, not to be a career, just be a career job, to go up and do the right thing for this state and this country. We're at a breaking point, and so you can go to TommyPercentage.com and kind of read some things, see some of my videos. I'll be putting them up. This is a marathon now. This is not a sprint. This is not going to happen the primary until March. So, it's an everyday job. I get up about 5, get home about 9 or 10, do it again about 6 or 7 days a week. But I enjoy every bit of it. And everybody wonders, will he stay with it? Folks, this is all I've ever done. I mean, I've worked all my life. I mean, I enjoy this. And I came out of retirement not to do this halfway. I'm going to do it full speed and make this successful.
Well, Coach, I'll say this. You're off to a great start. I don't know if I've ever had a guest or a coach or anybody that's ever been on the show that called 10 minutes early prior to the interview. Normally it's 10 minutes late. So I appreciate you coming on and spending some extra time with us here in Tuscaloosa. Hopefully we can do it again very soon. Thank you again for your time.
Thanks. Thank you. Thank you very much.